Hey, what's up guys? Metaphor here, and today I'm finally bringing you guys my long-awaited settings video. You guys have been asking for this for a long time, so without any further ado, let's just get right into it. So first things first, I do want to talk about my mouse sensitivity. I am on 1600 DPI and I use 3.25 sensitivity. And not only do I use 3.25 sensitivity, but if you click down here at mouse advanced settings, you will see that I have legacy on, which allows me to um, custom sensitivity per zoom, which allows me to change what each optic is. Now I use 0.53 on everything. High zoom is 0.65, but like I don't even know what qualifies as that. Like I think most sniper scopes fall in line with right here, so I don't really ever interact with 0.65. Um, 0.53, I like this. So the reason why I like this is because this allows me to have very good tracking up close. As you guys know, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you'll know that my biggest strength in Call of Duty is my ability to do inhuman tracking at close quarters, reactionary tracking, all that stuff. Obviously, my aim isn't always perfect, but whenever you guys are watching me and I'm frying, you will see that I have controller like accuracy. And I mean, like I said, I wish I could always do it, but there's just times where my aim is completely locked in and there's times where it isn't. This allows me to kill people up close with perfect accuracy, and it also allows me to just track people very well. This also is really good for snapping on people and staying on target because my sensitivity will be doubled. And then as soon as I ADS, it gets halved, goes back down to normal speed. If you want to look at it like that. I also have gradual. Now, this is something I never used to use. I used to always use instant, but I think it was last Call of Duty or the one before where I felt like gradual was actually really nice. Um, and it helped me out a lot. I don't know what it is, but this is what I use for my aiming. I know a lot of people are very interested in my aiming settings, and this is basically all there is with my aiming. I'm using the G303 Shroud mouse. Um, I'm not sponsored by, Logitech to use their mouse, and I don't even really recommend this mouse. It's just one that I've used for a long time, and I don't like trying new stuff. So that is the mouse that I'm using. I'm also using the OG wooden keyboard. And for those of you guys who are also using Hall Effect keyboards, I have everything on 0.1 for the actuation point. So that's why I'm able to, AD strafe and crouch strafe as fast as I do it. Anyways, going into my keybinds, here you guys go. It's all pretty standard keybinds here. Obviously, prone and dive is the one that's kind of weird. I have on a mouse button. I don't really prone that much anymore ever since they nerfed drop shotting. But I do obviously dive when I'm on ledges to do like the super jumps. It's kind of out of the way. I don't really press it that much. And now, the biggest thing here that people are going to be interested in looking at is my crouch key bind. Now, I know a lot of people have a separate bind for sliding, and that's to stop dead sliding. But what people don't know is the dead sliding isn't actually a bug. It's just because you're failing your movement. If you try to slide without momentum, your character will dead slide. And if you try to slide when your character is facing too close to a wall, you will also dead slide if you're too close to the wall. You don't need a separate bind, even though it will help you in those cases. I still think crouching and sliding on one button is more comfortable, and that's why I do that. And I also hit control with the bottom left part of my hand. So the area underneath my pinky, I kind of hit my control button without touching it with any of my fingers. I keep pinky on shift the whole time. I never ever hit my control button with anything other than the portion of my hand under my pinky. So that's why I'm able to quickly crouch strafe as fast as possible. And now another thing with the crouching that a lot of people are interested in is I have it on hold instead of toggle. So the default for crouching is on toggle, and that makes it a lot slower to crouch. I would recommend switching it to hold. It's a lot faster. That's pretty much it for that setting. All this stuff is pretty standard, I would say. I don't really think there's anything too crazy here. Can still go scroll through it a little bit, but there's nothing really too crazy here. I don't really change these settings ever. My movement binds, I use all assistance here. No delays on anything. I used to use the wall jump assist, but I don't anymore. I think it's really bad. I would use it in multiplayer, but I don't anymore. I think it's bad. There you go. And here's my combat event settings. Again, this is all pretty standard. I feel like you guys probably have the same settings as me here. So nothing really too crazy here. Going into my graphic settings real quick. This is my settings, and you guys need to understand is I'm not running my settings to have the most FPS. I'm running my settings to have a mix between high FPS and also for my game to look good. Obviously, you guys know that I stream, I make videos, so I don't want my game to look like a potato. I like my game to look good. With that being said, a lot of my settings are on low. This is the big setting you guys need to copy. The upscaling, you want to put on DLSS, and then you want to copy these settings. This is the best setting you can run. Everything else down here, like I said, the texture resolution and the shader quality, this is allowing your camos to look better. If you guys don't care about your camos, turn that down. This is all pretty normal right here. Make sure you turn off weapon blur and world motion blur. So for my audio, I use these settings right here. Now, I don't think my audio is very good. I lose audio all the time. I have terrible audio. I don't really recommend you guys copying, but I know you guys would be asking me for my audio, so here you go. I also use loudness EQ. If you guys don't know how loudness EQ works, you need to go into YouTube and type in how to get loudness EQ on your PC and just copy a video. That'll help you guys out a lot if you guys want to copy my exact audio. That's pretty much all there is for audio settings. If you guys want to copy my HUD settings as well, here you go. I don't ever change this stuff, so there's really not much to copy, but I feel like I should just show it anyway. I know people ask me a lot about the menu prompts, why it says I'm on controller when I'm on mouse and keyboard. You can just switch it here. I put it on controller to rage bait people, and it works, so that's why I have it on there. There's really not too many more settings. What I will say in general, though, for just some tips and stuff when it comes to mouse and keyboard aiming and all that, I would highly recommend to not copy loadouts from controller players. I would really recommend copying my loadouts. Obviously, I'm a mouse and keyboard player. I also play really, really aggressively. I take the most gunfights possible. I'm the most aggressive player that I've ever seen play the game. Even controller players, I play more aggressive than them. I play recklessly. I have a very I would say controller play style when it comes to my aggression. And the reason why the way I was able to develop that is just by taking a lot of fights. So I'd recommend if you guys are starting on mouse and keyboard, I know it might be easy to, kind of sit back and play on head glitches and shoot people in the back and all that, but you're not really going to get better unless you actually get into the game and fight people. So what I would recommend with your loadouts, I'd recommend focusing more on recoil control, because recoil is harder to control on mouse and keyboard, contrary to popular belief. A lot of people think, oh, mouse and keyboard can control recoil and mouse and keyboard can do long range better. It can't. Rotational aim assist will actively battle horizontal recoil, and most guns in Call of Duty are horizontal recoil, and they do that because they know that aim assist is actively countering the horizontal recoil. Obviously, if you just sit here and you don't touch anything, the gun's going to have insane recoil, but like for example, this NPC is pretty much all vertical, which is very easy to control on mouse and keyboard, but if I don't touch my mouse, there you go. But just in general, like all the assault rifles and stuff like that, a lot of them have this little jitter like left and right while you're shooting. And if you're playing on controller and you're moving your left stick while you're shooting, the rotational aim assist is going to counter most of that for you. And you basically, in my honest opinion, have the only advantage in keyboard and mouse if you're a very good keyboard and mouse player and you're fighting up close. I think if you're fighting anybody literally even beyond like 10 meters, you are at a disadvantage. I would say even at 10 meters, you're at a disadvantage. I would say if you're like, probably, I would say like anywhere below like 8 meters, 7 meters, if you're good at M&K, you could actually have an advantage. But from like here to where I'm standing to like right here, you're at a disadvantage onward. Like literally you are going to get outgunned by anybody here. And that's mainly just because of rotational aim assist. And what a lot of people don't understand is the reason why long range is even worse is because the aim assist bubble is still going to be there, right? So think about it like this. Think about it if someone was all the way down that hallway and you're trying to, do movement to get away. It's so much easier for the rotational aim assist to stick on you versus if you're actually up close with how jacked up the movement speed is in this game. Because the movement speed in this game is so jacked up, if you fight people up close with stims or smoke grenades and stuff like that, you can actually get out of their aim assist bubble and make them miss. Whereas the further away you are at range, the less they have to move their dot over, and the harder and harder it is to break aim assist. You never ever want to get people. You never want to take a normal gunfight against somebody who's this far away. The only time you would ever want to take a fight against somebody from this far away on mouse and keyboard is if you were getting first shots on them, or you had like cover and they didn't, or something like that. Also, a lot of people do wonder about my crouch strafing and how I do it. So Um, the thing that I do with my strafing, so like I said, I'm crouching with the area underneath my hand. I'm not pressing a button for my crouch. I'm using my hand to do it, which is allowing me to press A and D and crouch strafe very naturally. The crouching itself looks really crazy, but the crouching doesn't really break the aim assist. It's mainly just the strafing that's breaking the aim assist. The crouching is very jarring though, and if they're on mouse and keyboard, it is really good. But on controller, I've noticed that the crouching doesn't do too much. It just looks psychotic and it can make people crash out. Um, so if you can figure out your keybinds in a way to do the crouch strafing, I'd recommend doing it. But I'm basically just, AD strafing. You want to make sure when you're strafing too, that you don't press AD too quickly. Because if you do this, look at my feet. You know what I mean? I'm not really going anywhere. And this little area, like let's just say I drew a circle right there. I'm not escaping the aim assist bubble. Let's say it circles the aim assist bubble. You need to go farther enough where you're basically making them have to actually move their thumbstick. So a move that I like to do a lot when I'm strafing, like I'll strafe like this. Like you see how I'm doing like longer strafes? This is way harder to track. Because basically when you start moving to the side, if they're fighting you like over here looking, they're going to move their right thumbstick to the side and then you counter strafe. So, but if you just go like this, they don't actually have to touch the right thumbstick. And another move that I do a lot is, let's say I know there's a guy sitting here, right? And this is like a hallway. This little line right here. This is a hallway. And I know there's like a guy there. What I'll do is I'll slide to Chow and then I'll go left. And what that'll do is he'll start moving his thumbstick to the right, right? And then as soon as I realize that's happening, I'll do left and then I hit right. Or like I said, I'll chow in and then I'll just hard go the other way. You always want to try to manipulate what they're doing with their aim. So you can go left, right? Like you can slide chow, go one way and then go right. And you don't want to do it too tight because like look what happens if you do it too tight. I'll look at the ground here. If you go left and then right, you don't do anything. But if you go left a little bit, so they commit their thumbstick to the right, that's when you snap the other way. And you can actually break aim assist like that. So it's very technical. You just got to kind of think about what the controller player is doing mechanically and play around that. But that's how I break aim assist. That's how, like, you can see on my POV here, it doesn't look like I'm doing much. I promise you on their POV, it looks crazy what I'm doing right now. Like, that is really, really hard to track. And just the crowd strafing in general, like, it might look simple what I'm doing. And honestly, to me, it is simple, but you actually have to control your recoil a lot more when you're doing this, and it's a lot harder to shoot straight. So this isn't just as simple as changing to my settings and just being able to do it. Being able to manage your crouch strafing while shooting takes a lot of mechanical skill, but I honestly think this actually allows mouse and keyboard to have the advantage at close range, and there's actually just a giant misconception when it comes to mouse and keyboard aiming in this game, and it's not the long range advantage that people think it is. It's really just close range, and that's it. And that's why you're able to see me do so well against people in close quarter combat. Even the best players in the world on controller, I'm able to slam them up close when my aim is good. Obviously, if my aim's cooked, I'm terrible. Like I can't do any of this shit. This is very high end stuff when it comes to like getting the most out of the input. So don't expect to just listen to this and then go into your next game and just start spazzing out and just frying everybody. You might see some success, but yeah, you're just gonna have to practice a lot. And yeah, that's basically how I do all my movement tricks and all that stuff in order to get the advantage on controller players. It's pretty much all I can really say. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like and comment if you did, if you guys learned anything. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.